Hey there, I'm Gail Anderson and this is Mentoring Moments for Moms. Glad you could join us. Good morning, Stephanie. Hi, Janine. Nice to have you guys on today. If you haven't been with us before, I'm just gonna let you know that this is just something I do several mornings a week during the weekdays. I call it Mentoring Moments for Moms. It's a chance for me to connect with all of you, for you guys to connect with each other, to just maybe get some new ideas, things you can try, things you can share. And it's just great to have this opportunity, and I love being able to just talk about things that concern moms. I didn't do everything right when my kids were at home, but I do know some of the things I did worked out well, and I like to share those. So my experiences are worth something, I'm sure, good and bad. Anyway, I love hearing from you too. My email is in the profile, so feel free to email me. It's fun just to hear from you, how you're doing, what issues you're having, and how some of the ideas we're talking about are having an effect in your life and in your motherhood. So also there are links in the profile to my blog, which is my husband's blog, KirbyAnderson.com. We blog 3 times a week. I'm usually the Wednesday blogger, and we blog on marriage, parenting, health, personal development, all that kind of stuff. So you might enjoy that. Also, I have a YouTube channel with the same title, Mentoring Moments for Moms. So the link is also in my profile. So if you want to see any of the past scopes, they're all on YouTube. Fortunately, Periscope is now saving mine, but that's just been for the last month or so. So anyway, today we're going to talk about positive reinforcement or rewards. This is something I've heard a lot from all of you about that you want to hear more of. Now today, if you like the stuff I'm talking about, tap on the screen, give me some hearts. And if you want to share this broadcast, just swipe to the right and you'll be able to share with your followers and your friends. So my question for you today is, what's your best reward system? We're going to talk a bit about rewards, why we do them, the benefits, different ways of rewarding, but what is your best reward system that you use? Now, first of all, I think people sometimes think rewards are bad, that you should not be motivated to do something by a reward. But all of life is based on rewards and consequences. I mean, look at your job. You get paid if you show up. You get bonuses if you do a good job. So life is based on that. There are rewards for things that we do good and consequences for things that we do bad. So I don't think it's bad to do that with children. Plus, kids are not able to build that internal motivation until they get a little bit older. So we've got to have some way of being able to train the good behaviors and exterminate the behaviors that you don't like. So training behaviors is great with rewards, and then you can change it over to where they're getting verbal praise, or just, it's just built in them that they already have that habit. Now, since I like to do things positively, I like to attack a situation with the positive, with the rewards, before I go into something negative with the kids. So let's say I'm trying to train them to take their shoes off at the door. And I get really frustrated when they're walking into the house and tracking stuff in on their shoes. I can either consequence them for coming in the house with their shoes on, or I can set up a reward system where they get a point or something every time they come in and remember to take their shoes off. So like I say, I like to start off with the positive stuff, being able to reward the positive behavior instead of just pointing out the negative. Now, I've had a few of you ask about bribes. Isn't a reward a bribe? If I set up a system of rewards with my children, I feel like I'm giving them something to shoot for, something to motivate them. What I see a bribe as is something where you're standing there right then and saying, do this and I'll hand you this. It's this immediate thing where you are standing there trying to manipulate their behavior right at that moment. So that's where I feel like bribes come in. And that is, of course, I don't think a really good thing. The goal is to see your children benefit from getting a reward for something and to eventually decide on their own and make it a habit. So you want to build that internal motivation first, those No, sorry. You want to build that external motivation first until they can transfer it to just the good feeling that comes from doing what's right and following the rules. So this basically will build motivation, it'll build cooperation, it'll build responsibility in your kids. So I love being able to start off with rewards. Now when you're giving rewards, I would say to actually give them verbal praise along with the reward, so that eventually you can change over to just that verbal praise. Sometimes it means more to them, especially later on, especially when they get it to be junior high, high school. You're not going to be giving them points and pennies and stuff like that. So that verbal praise means a lot to them. Okay, with toddlers, you usually want to start out with something like stars or stickers or pennies. I know with potty training, I really like to use M&Ms. I know, terrible, feeding them sugar. But that immediate reward when they're potty training and have success has worked pretty well. And like I say, I only do it as long as I need to, you know, a week, 2 weeks, and then I change it over to just making a big deal about it or giving stars or stickers. The hint with toddlers is to be able to do something where they can get the reward pretty soon after they've done the behavior, because they can't always understand what things are for. But if you have a cause and effect relationship, they do something and they see that mom is happy and they're getting rewarded and praised, then that cause and effect they can understand. As they're in school, then you of course want to start changing over to longer term things where they're getting a reward at the end of something. Rewards like points or some type of beads. I got this great idea for rewarding with beads, a bead program. And then they're going to exchange those points or beads for something bigger. So, marriageconfessions.com just recently did a blog, and here she has a sample of what she did for her son Michael. Again, this is marriageconfessions.com. So she's got the behaviors here she wants to train, and that is ways to earn beads. And this is specific just to her one son. Her daughter has a totally different thing that she's working on. And then here are the ways to spend your beads. And then she would have a little pipe cleaner where they got to put beads on, which of course you only want mom and dad doing. You don't want the kids going up and freely putting up their points or whatever. But I love this because she's got it all decided beforehand. Now, one of the things that I love doing with my kids was just having bonus points. They were probably grade school age when we were doing that, and I would just give them bonus points for certain things that they did on their own without being told, and they loved that. And the turning into those bonus points, the cashing in, was decided individually with each child. They'd say, Mom, how many points would I have to spend to get 30 minutes on my Nintendo right now? And then I would go ahead and, you know, decide on something with them, try and make it even to what I'd been doing before or what I do with the other kids. But it was really nice because I also would randomly give them bonus points for, like I said, doing things without being told. So the bonus points was great for me. There is some bookkeeping, of course, because you've got to go over and put down the points. But you know what? If you're getting rid of some of those more negative behaviors and training good behaviors, it is worth it. Well worth it. Now, I haven't heard from anybody yet on what your favorite reward systems are or favorite rewards, because rewards vary by child, they vary by family, it's all very individual. So I can give you some ideas, Marriage Confessions can give you some ideas, you'll have some ideas, but everybody has to figure out what's best for your home, your kids, and what behaviors you need to work on. So just develop your own system. There is a book out called The 5 Love Languages of Children, and I used that book when my kids were young. There's actually a very simple test you can do with your kids just to find out what their love language is. Is it quality time? Is it gifts? Is it just words of affirmation? Because this will help you figure out the type of rewards. iPad time and one-on-one special time. Excellent. I love that. It has to do with what that kid likes. I mean, if I say an automatic reward for everyone is going to be going outside and playing basketball with mom, that may not be something that everybody likes. So it's got to be individual with the child. They all have their different ways. Ice cream, great, Sydney. Going out for ice cream is amazing. Or even if you're not going anywhere, but just having an ice cream cone at home and sitting outside and enjoying it together. It's just great to come up with those individual ways that kids receive love, because then you can zero in on what their best rewards are. And I will mention here, it's the same thing with consequences. What's a consequence for one child may not be a consequence for another. So it's got to be really individual. With teenagers, we got to the point where we used contracts. Now I'm going to put links for these things in the notes or the description of the class on YouTube. So if you want the name of the book, I'll put that link in there. I'll also put a few of our teen contracts in there. When we were really working on something with our teens, we had contracts. One of the things was for driving, and another thing was for when they had been to college and came home and lived in the home during the summer. So those are things that are important to realize now, that things are going to change as they age. You can't just be giving them pennies and nickels and dollars all the rest of their lives to motivate behavior. And the older they get, the more those rewards should be intrinsic. They should feel good on the inside, and they should feel good enough about what they did, just getting that verbal praise from you. So, just an idea of what kind of things you want to motivate in behaviors. Thanks for those hearts, you guys. Still want to hear a few more ideas if you have any systems of rewards you like. We talked about the bonus points. We talked about the beads, which this gal called the bead store, Michael's bead store. So here's some of the things you might want to motivate in their behavior when they're young, doing those 5 things that we talked about for preschoolers and even toddlers: making their bed, getting dressed, it's that morning routine, having breakfast, washing their hands and face, doing their teeth and hair. Those are kind of great things to start out with for a 2- and 3-year-old. And yes, you have to kind of walk them through it, but that's how you train the behavior. You're walking them through it, you're rewarding them, and then pretty soon they're going to be doing this on their own and then coming and telling you because they're so excited. Other things would be just your daily chores. Or, you know, things that need to be done, special chores. That's things that are responsibilities for them, or things that they do on their own out of the goodness of their heart. If they want to go ahead and do some of those things and you check and see they've done a good job, amazing, amazing. Just go back and give them the points or stars or whatever. My Fabulous Chaos, Laura, had done a scope a while ago on just the system she uses with getting her kids to do jobs around the house. Now, it's a system of a notebook and all kinds of check marks and ideas. So if you need ideas on what kinds of jobs you want your kids to do, that's good. I'll also put a link to a page that I did, which was basically from the book More Hours in My Day, that shows what jobs you can expect at which age. So this will help you stretch your kids, especially during the summer when they're home a lot. Stretch them into being more responsible and doing more things around the house. I do not think we have any idea the capability of our kids. We really don't. And I will mention here that part of this on the bead store rewards was motivating using your time for educational things. She gave beads for reading, or doing a reading game or app, or doing a math game or app. So she had these things on here to motivate those good behaviors. Yes, they do. They surprise you. And I love teaching my kids at a young age, because even if they don't do it as well as you, it's okay. After they go to bed, you can do it again. You can do it the next day and just clean it up. But each time they do it, they get better and better at it. And when you're taking the time to do it with them and motivate them, they are learning the proper way to do it. So I love that. Getting along. It's great to give points for that. I'm going to be watching my 4 grandkids the beginning of August out in California. And I'm going to develop a system just for that week on them getting points for getting along, for fighting for the bottom. They feel so important and part of the family team when they're given a test. Excellent. Yes, they do, and you want them to feel a part of that team. So fighting for the bottom is putting yourself last, letting somebody else choose first, letting somebody else go first, taking the smallest piece of cake instead of the largest one. And fighting for the bottom is the term that we use for that. I had written a blog on that, which was a fun one just recently, I think. So you can go to our blog and read that. But we loved that terminology and loved rewarding that fighting for the bottom. One of the things that I will do when I'm with my grandkids, I made up fight for the bottom jars. And each of them, according to age, received coins every time they chose to fight for the bottom. It is a great way to build cooperation in the family. So I just want to motivate you to come up with your own system. Get ideas on Pinterest. Listen to this. You know, just get some other good books on it, but develop a system that works for you, that's not too much administration for you, and yet can help you to build and motivate those good behaviors in your kids, because life is so much easier and so much more peaceful for us moms when we can go ahead and do that. And it's fun. It is fun to see how you can change their behavior with rewards. So I'll probably be back on tomorrow. Not sure what I'm talking about, but I will be here. Hope you're all having an awesome summer day and have some great time with your kids. Thanks for sharing this, you guys. And if you missed part of the scope, go to my YouTube channel. The link's in the profile, and you can see the whole thing. So thanks, everybody. Have a good day.